about it.
And we're not. This is Dawn of the Dead. This is Daniel's
This is Dawn
pick.
of the Dead.
I'm sorry, I just go off sometimes and I feel terrible.
That's fine.
I don't have his email, but rest assured, he sent one. These two movies are completely on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm going to warn Daniel right now.
I don't think he's going to win.
I like the original better.
Oh, he likes the remake better?
I don't...
Well, that's what the contest rule was, to see which remake was as good or...
Oh. Yeah, I agree.
Well, he was left with not much to work with. So...
Yeah, I don't know what else is out there.
Oh.
But like we talked about,
Friday
the original Fly was surprisingly really good.
Yeah.
Surprise, come on.
But none of us had like really seen it, and it was like
Nope.
surprisingly really good.
The original Dawn of the Dead has Galen Ross.
Do you know who we watched a Galen Ross movie not long ago?
Yeah, that's why I
Where
brought
she
her
got
up.
topless in the most awkward,
It's the most awkward sex scene
ever. The afterwards of her sex scene with Flyboy here is like laying in the bed after they just did it. They tried to give her this, like they both hate each other.
Yeah. They both look like, oh God, what have I done?
Yeah.
Like, oh, if I could saw my own arm off to get away from her, I would. Or him.
So this was filmed where? Which mall? Monroeville?
Monroeville.
Yeah.
But have you ever been there? I've actually never been there, and I live an hour away.
I've been there.
If they still had an ice rink, a full ice rink in the mall, I would go.
What? All right, I'll cut it. Cut it, John.
Jesus. I'm not surprised. If they had a full-size ice rink still in that mall, I would go. But
yeah,
apparently it was taken out.
Malls
Dude,
are...
what do you think? Okay, what's the budget on this? Because they probably rented that mall and they destroyed some of that mall.
It was $1.5 million was the budget.
Is that it?
It made $55 million.
Okay, so we're talking about the original right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about the original. The original has Ken Foree, or Ken Foree, we don't know how it...
Yeah.
Ken Foree, I
Whichever.
think it might be, but
He's
also in the remake. They throw a little cameo in there.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
It's not...
I didn't care for those little cameos in those types of remakes.
There's 2 or 3 things I do like from the remake.
I like some stuff in the remake.
It felt like 28 weeks later, or 28 days later,
felt exactly like that.
But he did that because the original is such a iconic
slow?
Yeah. I have problems with the original, but it's so iconic he didn't want to... He had to change it up a little bit.
I'm going to thwart your problems with the original. I'm going to break it down for you.
All right, I think John's in agreement with some of the things that I disagree with the original.
The reason that they feel so different, for one thing, is that everything moves fast in the remake, and the zombies are moving fast. In the old one, everything is slow and plodding, and so are the zombies. Everything about it is slow.
Yeah.
So it just feels like two completely different.
Yeah.
They are. The only thing that they have in common are zombies in a mall.
Yeah.
And what they do in the mall is...
Totally different.
They sustain life in the original, like, for days in the mall.
Well,
in the original, or in the remake, it's just a kind of place to hide out for a day or two with a whole bunch of dick characters that are unnecessary.
They did a great job in the original with, I mean, there's certain scenes where it's like over the top ridiculous, like, what are you gonna do with that TV? I don't know, but I'm gonna grab it. Like,
I love the way they portray Western Pennsylvania.
But
dead on.
Dead 100%. True to this day.
Nothing's changed, people.
Still 1978, Western Pennsylvania flannels.
I believe they're drinking Iron City.
They are. They're pounding Iron City.
The original, though, did a good job of showing you the boredom. That they're,
you're trapped in. There's 3 people. There's 3 of us. Ken Foree's got to feel like a third wheel, even though that those two clearly don't like each other.
But I like the original because it didn't. The main characters all got along. There was no rapey scenes. There was no. Where in the remake, of course, you have to have conflict amongst the
everybody's
survivors.
watching everybody's backs.
Yeah,
and in the original, when people have to kill people that they like, it felt like they feel bad about it. Yeah. Like in the remake, there's no feelings at all.
There's glee, and
it's like
even when they're just in the remake, the rooftop. When Sarah Polly, the nurse, and she seems like she's probably the most sympathetic.
She is. They're doing that.
She's gonna have the most sympathy, and she kind of has a smirk on her face while they're just sitting on the rooftop, just picking people off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she has a smile on her face.
The guy from Modern Family, I don't know what his name is. He's Phil on Modern Family. He's the dark-haired guy, but they're like. They see there's a guy that owns an ammo shop across the way.
That's a funny scene.
Sniping, yeah, and they're like putting up names of celebrities that look like these people, and this guy's picking them off one by one. And Sarah Pauli's like, this is kind of appalling, and that guy's like, listen, if I turn into one of those things, fucking shoot me in the head. And she's like, don't worry, I will. And he's like, yeah, what? But you don't have that kind of conflict. What you have conflict in the original Dawn of the Dead is Tom Savini and his gang of hoodlums.
And that's not till the very
And that's
very
the
end.
very end.
Yeah.
So what you have in Dawn of the Dead is a 3-part show. We've got a little action and them taking over that building and with the zombie first outbreak happening. We've got the slow progression of them flying to the mall and kind of 45 minutes of bogged down society of 3 people living in a mall. And then you have Tom Savini and his gang. What's that?
4 people living in a mall.
Or 4 people living in a mall.
One of them dies off. Yeah.
4.5 people living in a mall.
But the things that they do are good. And the things, like, they show 15 minutes of Galen Ross learning to fly a helicopter. And I'm like, that better come into play later.
Well, it's smart.
And they did. They made sure that came into play later. Because if they did all that for nothing, why show that?
I read a bunch of trivia, and they were talking about how Galen Ross demanded, like, she almost single-handedly... It was almost like Romero's script didn't have her as, like, a strong female character. And, like, she demanded to be, or try to be a strong female character. Did she pull it off?
Sorry.
I like her character in the original more than I do in the remake. Because...
Who was her character in the remake?
Sarah Pauli is what I would say. But her character in the original, she's... TV broadcast lady who's got knocked up essentially by Flyboy.
He's a dick.
He is a dick.
He's a dick throughout the
she
whole
got
movie.
knocked up by Flyboy, and I don't think that they really like each other that much. But he's like, well, I knocked her up, so later on he's like tries to give her a ring, and she's like, no, I don't think so. So I think there's tension there, but she's gonna keep the baby, even though Ken Fore's like,
the 70s
you
were
need an abortion. I can perform that.
Yeah, like what?
Where did you get that training? That's what I want to know. Not in the military. But Roger's character, I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's best friends with Flyboy, and like through the movie, Flyboy's not that good of a shot, and like Roger like smacks his gun out of the way, and he's headshotting people and stuff. The chemistry's a lot better.
The Flyboy though. It's a necessity. He can fly the plane or fly the helicopter. You need somebody like him.
That's right.
Also, the pure 70s-ness of those when they stop for gas on the way to the mall, and you have the freaking kids.
Yeah.
Those were Savini's kids.
Were they?
Yeah, I read that. But you actually see like kids being shot.
Yeah, Ken Fore's got to shoot a couple too.
I know it's iconic and everyone loves it. What do you think of the propeller zombie death?
You know what? Watching it, it's not as bad as it looks. Some people do have longer foreheads. I mean, you can tell definitely, but it's fine.
I read that the head prosthetic, he had to have changed it up a bit, was for Galen Ross's character. And she was going to commit suicide. It was going to be a much bleaker ending. And she was going to commit suicide she was going to get killed by the helicopter blade. And then they rewrote the ending. And Savini was like, this is bullshit. I'm using that prosthetic like that. I built that. So they threw in that piece where they have to land for gas. And that's why the head didn't, because it wasn't really made for that guy.
It didn't look quite right.
Yeah.
It's passable. Definitely for 70s.
It's very cool, though.
I know, well, a lot of the bite stuff you can tell is like Playtex and foam and all sorts of different stuff. And the blood looks really bright red or orange at times, and that's fine. But a lot of bullet body shots and head explosions throughout this whole movie, which look good. Tom Savini's exploding head before Mania, he did it when Wooly went into that one room and just shot up the Puerto Rican place or whatever.
You gotta do the token. over-the-top white racist guy.
Oh, he's terrible.
I've read two different things. One, they didn't know what the colors would match up with film stock, because I guess you don't really know what you're getting with film stock. And, like, so that's why, like, the zombies look blue and the blood looked orange. And then I've read that Romero wanted a comic book look to it, so that's why.
I don't mind the blue zombies.
Yeah.
You can tell that there's not a whole lot of... I'm sure these are local
Pittsburgh
people that just dressed up, because you can see they're all doing their own zombie walk. Some of them are like shimmying like this. Other of them are just doing like a slow walk, and some are doing the Frankenstein arms out walking slow. It's like
when Flyboy changes, he looks like he's walking on his his ankle.
Bad, yeah. I don't know what they did there. Like, his shoe's loose and it's like a flat foot, and his shoe just looks crooked, but it looked painful.
It looked really painful.
I agree, yeah. He was like dragging that thing around like, ooh.
To me, that was sort of surprising. I didn't think first time I saw it, I didn't think he was going to be the one that died. But, yeah, threw me for a loop.
Roger, I thought he was going to be him and Ken Foray were definitely going to survive. I thought actually all four of them would probably survive, just because a ton of people died in the movie already. One of the best things, though, I feel from Dawn of the Dead, that one goofy guy towards the beginning is asking if anyone has a pack of cigarettes before they fly away. And they're all like, no. And they all get in, and they all pull out a pack of cigarettes and start smoking a cigarette. Like, it's a zombie apocalypse, motherfucker. I am not giving you anything right now.
The one guy that keeps appearing, I don't know if he's a scientist or a doctor, he's got the eye patch on.
Yeah.
He's in all kind of
Robin said he reminds him of Wes. His voice and, like,
he's
got
what?
the brown, black beard.
She's not wrong. Bigger. Yeah, she's not wrong. He shows up in tons of cameos for Romero movies.
I love that guy's like, you just gotta shoot him. It's not science. They're coming back to life.
Yeah, that guy was in... he played a scientist in The Crazies also, but I don't know if he's in Martin.
Yeah, I told you Martin is the brown-faced guy at the beginning. One of the Puerto Ricans that gets shot. Isn't that bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about that scene. I was like, oh, brown face, black face.
It's not good, but...
No. So, I did love the... we're speaking so much on the original.
Yeah,
which obviously everybody's going to find out we like the original better than the remake.
The remake, yeah.
But that... You were talking about the rednecks, and not much has changed in Western PA. The scenes where the helicopter and they're flying over and you're seeing...
They're so good.
And that's exactly what Western PA would be.
But I love that. Target practicing on zombies. And they're like, this is great! Like, oh, you missed his head, Jimbo. Let me get shot.
But I do love the crazy banjo music that's playing louder. He does that a couple times. There's the other music.
Who is in there? Goblin? Is that who does the soundtrack?
Goblin does the score.
This is where Zombie 2 came from, because this movie was released as just Zombie in Italy.
Yeah.
So Fulci's movie.
Fulci's movie Part 2.
Which you've never seen, which you lost your copy of, that I've always wanted to see.
2 copies of.
To Ben.
First.
Old Ben.
First Zombie or Zombie
Fat
2?
Ben.
Zombie 2.
Zombie 2.
But yeah, this was, I think... Fulci had a little bit of work to do on this, and some of the Italian film crew. They meshed together to make this.
I saw Argento's name was like a producer or something on this set for the original.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about the remake a little bit.
I didn't like it. I'm just going to start with that.
I'll say I like how it gets down to it. It's mass chaos literally in the first 10 minutes. I like that.
Yeah. The obviously computer shots of the car making its way up the road.
Yeah, it looks very video game like.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of CGI that's just like, that baby.
Yeah, it got worse as the movie went on.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Did.
I'm sorry, the overweight old lady who's sick when they bring her into the mall. Are you really gonna look at her and think, oh, she looks just like has a fever?
Yeah, no. That lady, there is something bad going on with her, such as a zombie disease. Ow, she's not saying it. I will put the knife in her head.
Hell yeah.
Listen, if you guys die and you come back as zombies, I'll be the first one to stab you in the head.
I'm the opposite of everybody. I say that if I turn into a zombie, let me eat a couple people before you take me down.
It depends on how cool you are. If you're acting cool and you can like communicate, then I'll let you live. If you're like Fido.
Did you...
Or Drew Barrymore from Santa Clarita Diet. Let me push that. Netflix. Really good show.
Like, we're kind of jumping around before seeing this, but the ending for each one is different. The ending for the original is kind of, you don't know what happens to them. Ken Foree and Galen Ross. But the ending for this one, the remake is it's bleak. Like, they escape to an island.
And then find out there's zombies there.
Yeah, there's zombies there, and it's just, it's classic post 9/11.
And it's like a found footage shot, too.
Yeah, really it was like House of the Dead there for the last few minutes, which was really dumb. And everyone wants to talk the remake up like it's this really good movie.
I like parts. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Here's my original, like, when I first saw it, I remember everybody having the same thought. This is terrible. Then, like, after time went on, people were like, I think people give that movie a lot of bad...
Crap. Is that because
But I think they were right when they did. They just all of a sudden switched it.
Is that because it was so close to 28 Days Later?
I think so.
Yeah. People were like, this is good. People were like, those are good.
Or I think it's this day and age, they look at the original and they're like, well, this is really slow and boring. We got to really up this, amp it. And that's what they did with the 2004. It's like, we got to make them fast. We got to make CGI blood. We got to get everything. We got to get this. We got to have a zombie baby being born. That's a great idea. That's a worst idea you could ever have other than casting Mekhi Phifer in this. Or Omar Epps. I'm sorry.
I thought it was Mekhi Phifer.
Which one is it? Okay. They look alike. I'm sorry.
Nice.
Cut that.
Wow.
I think 2 white people look alike too. Does that make me racist?
Wow.
Yes. No.
Cut all of that.
I just want to go back and talk about the original.
It's so much better.
It's long.
That's what it comes down to.
It is. It is long. But you have so much more character development. You literally just
you do.
You get like 12 people thrown in a mall with 3 dicky security guards.
Yeah.
That's the drama there. In the original, it's the Tom Savini gang coming in. And there's not a whole lot of drama because...
There's not really scary in that either.
They're
just looting. They're not going to kill the 4
not,
in the mall.
But they will if they have to.
They will if they have to.
Because Flyboy gets this idea that he's just going to start shooting at them for some stupid reason.
So, technically, you'd say Flyboy brought it on himself.
He did, and he deserved to die, and I think that's why Romero did kill him. Because he brought this upon himself. If we'd have listened to Ken Foree, get up there, let the zombies come in with him, take him out, and then just go fly away. Let it happen like that.
Yeah. Did you also find it amusing in the original with the big ring of keys of 200 keys, and they always get the right one? It takes them 2 or 3, but they always
listen. I assume at that point they had them labeled. They had been living in the mall. They had been living in the mall for weeks at this point. Whenever Savini's gang was there, and they had a pretty Flyboy knew. He had the glass plate slide up all set. He had the elevator set. They had a pretty good setup in there. So
I know, but it was still just kind of funny. Cause have you ever had a moment in your life where you're trying to unlock a door and you have something coming behind you? You don't know what it is.
No.
I did once.
What was coming behind you?
I work.
Pussy.
You know where I live. Grew up.
Oh yeah, hair school.
So the driveway. I used to work at the golf course. Armco, yeah. And I had to be there early in the morning. Like, we usually started at 5 or 6 in the morning. So I'm probably leaving at 4:30 in the morning. I go out. I go to unlock my door. And, the back road right there beside my driveway, I heard this, thing running full speed. And it's dark. And I'm like, oh! And I'm looking. I'm trying to get my door unlocked. And then finally, I'm like, I can't get the door unlocked. And I'm like, fuck, I'm going to die. Someone's going to kill me. And there's a huge buck deer runs right past me. Scared the shit out of me.
Deer are so scary at night,
or
when it's dark.
So that's my story of quickly trying to get
in the car. Have you ever had a car? No, we're not in these situations like horror movie people ever. There's never a killer.
I was then. Me. I didn't know it wasn't a killer.
Look at this guy. This guy might be a killer. He's wearing sunglasses. It's not even sunny out. That was bound to happen. I've only hit that 17 times today. Luckily, we got some Mike Dyer dolls already in there. Oh, did you listen? We were like,
I have no idea.
Has anyone
that's going in the
with
box
us in
with,
weeks?
No, nobody has.
So, can somebody write in?
So what did you guys think of when they built a bus, or 2 buses, made of barbed wire?
I thought it was a reference to Land of the Dead.
Oh, right.
Too many characters for me in the remake.
Why have the guard security or the dick security guards?
I think they're the Tom Savini portion of like the people opposed.
Well, they kind of go back and forth too throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't have somebody trying to take them all over. So that I think you're right. I think the security guards are basically what
you're gonna do. What we
say. The equivalent, yeah.
We run this mall.
Do you think they were trying to hit on things from the original and just failed at it, or do you think they just didn't even try?
I think they tried. I mean, Ken Foray came back and at least had a cameo.
I didn't like.
Ving Rhames was fine, I guess.
There wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in agreement with you. There was too many characters.
And the acting was not that great.
And it was kind of predictable, especially things like Mekhi Phifer's kid. You knew it was going to be a zombie kid.
And that's why. Why even try to show that? It looks terrible.
I think Zack
Snyder. Shock value.
I don't know who wrote this, but like Galen Ross is pregnant, but they didn't go anywhere with that. She didn't have the baby.
That
and
is
like so they took that concept and was like, ooh, what if
we had? Yeah. And how did she have a zombie baby?
She got bit, so she was infected, so it was in her blood.
Why wasn't she a zombie yet?
That's why he had her tied down. She was a zombie when she had that.
Oh, no, it was so stupid.
Which she was tied down. Homage to Exorcist, but
I will give it credit for the Richard Cheese Down with the Sickness. I love Richard Cheese's lounge singing.
It's Zack Snyder's use of music. Have you seen Watchmen?
That opening title scene.
The opening title scene. It's fantastic.
Do I look the type of guy that would watch Watchmen?
No, I don't know why I asked you. But the opening scene with Dylan's "The Tides They Are Changing," it's brilliant. Like and then the opening credits to this with
Dylan Thomas.
Is it The Man
Johnny
Comes Around?
Cash,
yeah, Johnny Cash. Is it The Man Comes Around? Or, and then you get the clips of all the news.
Perfect.
It's great. But
the rest of the movie, there's a big lack of substance and
a lot of
it's just
CGI.
People fighting CGI and fast.
The original
bad blood zombies.
The original, like all 4 characters in the mall were likable.
Just relax.
In their own way. This.
2 maybe
characters
that you could follow and like. Yep. The other ones are like, I could live it without this. But like Peter and Rogers, they didn't know each other before this whole thing went down. They find each other in a basement after Peter, Ken Foray's character, had to kill Wooly, who was in Rogers' unit. He went crazy, and Ken Foray put him down, and they meet each other in the basement. They're both pointing guns at each other. They're like, this is what's happening. And Robin told me before I came here, I wasn't even paying attention because I kind of fell asleep halfway through this movie, and then I picked up from where I thought I left off. Ken Foray talks about his dad being a preacher in the plains, and he said his dad always said, like, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk among us, and that's kind of
in the remake.
Yeah, and I didn't really. I knew that was on the poster, but I didn't know where it came in the movie, and I had fell asleep for that part. So, but then again, Ken Foray's like, wake up, we're thieves and crooks too, and you are. You took over this fucking mall that you shouldn't be, but who the fuck cares right now because there's a zombie apocalypse going on.
The one thing, besides I thought it was a little long, the original, there were too many, like, yips and yeehaws and hollers.
Oh, when they're just running through the mall
and it was
on their
like,
own?
stop. Like, it's... But, I mean, I think that's a Romero thing, isn't it?
When Savini and his bike gang come into the mall, though, it is absolutely hysterical watching them. They pie face these zombies for like a 2-minute montage where they literally running around having fun with zombies and throwing pies in their face, which is absolutely hysterical that you would throw a pie in a zombie's face and think that's amusing, but they do it for 2 minutes because these are slow zombies. You couldn't pull that trick off with a fast zombie because you'll get murdered.
Right.
But what the scene where one of the bikers, in the midst of a zombie attack, he decides to check his blood pressure.
Everyone was checking their blood pressure.
What? I understand it's the apocalypse and you need to be as healthy as possible.
I feel it's when those machines first came out. I know when Walmart got them, I was checking my blood pressure all the time, and I was like 10. I was like,
didn't know what it meant.
102/80. I hope that's good. Turns out it is.
I'm consistent 110/80. Carly hates me. I can eat whatever I want, and I'm always 110/80. That was a bit weird, where it's like, I'm going to stop and check my blood pressure.
Yeah, but it was for somebody getting bit.
They just wanted to show the arm get ripped off.
Somebody getting torn apart, and they wanted to use some god effects. And they used this.
They look amazing.
In Dawn of the Dead, there were more bullet explosions in either chest or heads than I've seen in any other movie in my life that weren't CGI.
Yeah.
These there had to be 100 people getting shot in the chest or the head, zombie fucking people from Pittsburgh in this movie.
Yeah.
Just so many.
Yeah, the effects in this are great, and they bring you into it, whereas the ones in the new one kind of push you away. You don't really want to watch that. It just looks bad.
You see a bus running over zombies, it's like...
Yeah, there's like a pull away of the bus, and it just looks terrible.
How many propane tanks exploded?
Too many. All of them. It doesn't matter. It's
not
not a bad movie. It's just like...
it's not
with that name, you expect a little more out of it because the original was so good.
I always thought they should have just called it something else. It doesn't need to be
Mall of the Dead.
Mall of the Dead. It could be anything.
Mall of the Dead, 5 out of 10.
Did you catch in the original Savini's racist remark to Ken Foree? He calls him Chocolate Man.
Chocolate Man, yeah! That's
like,
so funny. It's not funny.
The 70s. So I think we're all in agreement with the remake's better.
I think the
what? You got him.
What?
The original's better than the remake is what I meant to say.
Yeah, I think in this case... The original Run of the Dead is better than... And we'll give our scores...
Did you say Run of the Dead? Ron of the Dead?
Dawn of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead.
I think you said Ron
of the Dead.
That's real.
I've never seen that one.
Damn. Don't want to.
No.
Schlong of the Dead.
Are we giving our scores here?
Yeah. No, we were supposed to give them after we get all the movies in.
Oh, okay.
So what are we supposed to...
I didn't write those down.
So
we're going to give all the scores out after the fourth movie?
Yes.
We're going to... have a separate recorded segment of like 10 minutes.
We're gonna go back and we're gonna.
I didn't know this.
We're gonna compare each of the 4. It'll just be a quick, and then we'll rate them and we'll award the best one.
What? So you're gonna rate upwards of how many are we doing?
8.
4.
8.
Yeah, you're gonna rate upwards of 8 movies. 8 to 1, 1 to 8.
No, not like that. No, I'm not putting it in order like that. I'm gonna take my score from the original Fly and the remake of The Fly, kind of contrast the two, compare them, and then take from each of them, and then we'll give out our scores what we thought were the...
You just complained that, like, we didn't have enough, you don't remember enough notes and stuff to go with Hills Have Eyes. Now you expect me 8 weeks from now to remember...
But we're going to re-record the Hills Have Eyes so you'll have a grasp on it.
Yeah. Okay. We lost the one we had, so...
No.
It could have been solid gold, we'll never know.
It wasn't.
We'll never know.
We didn't know what we were doing.
All right,
this
that's
one actually,
it.
I think, turned out all right.
Yeah, that's how I think we should do them.
We
don't have to go over
chat.
All right, that's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of us, facebook.com/horrorcasting. Horrorcastings@gmail.com. Write in so Cobra doesn't hate on you more. And Twitter, we're at horrorcasting.
Thrill me!